You just say get a life.
So
I love that. Did you say get a life? No, I was saying going live, not get a life.
And then it just went silent.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that we got the music, man. I know the title slate's wrong, but it's Jedi, right? I don't care. That song's so
Exactly.
good.
Again, I'm still using the old title screen. That's because or else we have no music, and we need Jedi Rocks to kick off the Sith and Scoundrel every single time, or else it doesn't work. It needs to be right for your mind.
We need to find that Sabine song. Which
Yes,
is on Spotify.
They haven't uploaded
It's
it. The
out
band
now.
hasn't uploaded it. Is it?
It's
out
out
now?
Yes, so they have just. I think it was either
That-
Monday or Tuesday. They released the first 4 episodes worth of the score, which includes
God-
the song with Sabine's playing.
And is
God
that
bless you, Phil. God
So
bless you.
Kevin Kiner has obviously done the score for Ahsoka, same time he did for Clone Wars and for
Mhm.
Rebels. And this is by far probably my favorite he's done. This has been absolutely stellar from start to finish. But yes, so that the first 4 episodes are now out, which is fantastic. Yes,
So we just have to wait for the Galactic Empire version of the Ahsoka intro.
oh yes, give me that. Oh, they actually play over here in London at the end of the year. Oh my god,
are they doing
What?
it as a full tour?
they're doing a full tour, yeah.
They'll probably do Southampton then. They usually do.
It's not on the list at the moment.
Matt? Are we
Tess?
going? Are
Yeah,
we
why not?
going?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It'll be good.
You put anything Star Wars and I'm down. No, maybe I should put a limit on that. There's a line.
I mean, yeah, no, it'll definitely be worth it. For those of you who are new to the show or even wondering what the hell we're talking about, hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Sith and Scoundrel podcast. We promised we were going to talk about Ahsoka and other bits and pieces, but of course, I'm Matt. I'm Phil. Jeez, it's been a long time without enough coffee. I'm Phil, Matt Tess. Good evening, people.
Ow! My identity! It has been stolen.
No, I'm Matt now. It's fine. It's official. It's done.
How does that? That was so easy. Like, no wonder there's fraud awareness campaigns.
This is the weirdest episode of Freaky Friday ever.
I'm Matt. I now am. What? It wasn't even a great calamity. Oh.
Oh
Lame.
god, I'm sorry.
Oh, where is it? So, yeah, so welcome back. We are at the moment talking about a little bit about Galactic Empire. If you haven't heard of Galactic Empire before, I do encourage you to go and look them up. They are, well, it's Star Wars meets, matter of fact, Matt, I think you're the one who introduced me to Galactic Empire. A few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he introduced me.
If you want to go further back to the heady days of 2008, 2009,
No.
there's an instrumental band called Anchorhead, and they soundtrack the entirety of A New Hope to the footage with Shreddisode 4, and
Why
it's
do you-
incredible.
That's
They
so
did.
cool.
That's definitely a blast in the past.
That's the precursor to Galactic Empire, was Anchorhead.
This is the problem with me getting into it like hard so late. You know what I mean? Is I've missed so many things over the years that I'm now having to like go back to.
Never.
Fine. Let's be fair, but at least there's more content for you to have rather than it be just.
No, you've put your voice changer on again.
Apparently I have. There we go. But that's normal.
Oh my god, that was a moment.
It looks like someone's connection is awful. I was expecting Phil to be like, "Where is Padme? Is she okay?"
Yeah, are we in 2008 right now?
Alive?
No.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a
no,
thing.
no.
I knew it was going to happen at some point.
I thought he was gonna be like, do it.
Do it. Do it.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's made my day.
So we have 2 episodes of Ahsoka to catch up on.
Indeed we do. So apologies you weren't here last week. I wasn't feeling particularly well, so we couldn't get the show out, which is a shame because I was very much looking forward to talking about. Actually, I was looking forward to talking about the World Between Worlds, which is something I would never thought I'd ever say because I have never liked it until now.
It's okay.
I'm,
I wasn't feeling well last week either, and I told Matt, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise that we both kind of weren't, because I would have felt really bad otherwise.
I sat here on my own going, huh.
Can't talk about it now.
Just plays Jello Rock and then talks to himself.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, dude, that's not too far removed. So episode 5 of Ahsoka, which was a new episode of the Clone Wars.
So you mean episode?
It was live action Clone Wars. Oh.
I actually said this to Tess earlier. In the episode 5 is an episode of the Clone Wars, and episode 6 is an episode of Rebels.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, to be fair, the whole thing is Rebels season 5, and if you look at the comparison between season 4 Rebels and this with the World Between Worlds, I think it actually took for it to be in live action for me to understand the World Between Worlds properly.
But where is Zeb?
Yeah, okay.
Zeb
7
is around.
weeks without Zeb. What the fuck is going on? Bring me Zeb.
Well,
I don't know.
there's been a cryptic message from Vanessa Marshall, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, obviously plays Hera, who says that in the last couple episodes, the finale especially will bring together things from the finale and that epilogue of Rebels. The epilogue of Rebels have Zeb with Callus, which means you can have Callus in live action, which I would absolutely love.
And Rex. More Rex.
Oh, that was like, we got like 2 seconds of Rex. I screamed at the screen.
Old man Rex.
I love him.
At least we had Rex. But shall we go through it from start to end? Because there are so many
points. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Wonderful episode that it's just, you can get lost going, this bit was cool, this bit was cool, this bit was cool. But obviously, we ended up the episode before where Ahsoka basically woke up in the World Between Worlds with the eponymous line of hello Snips from right behind her, which was just I have been waiting for that moment for a long time, and it was just
can I just say I'm a Hayden Christensen stan, and I literally lost my shit. It's like I lost my shit.
Well, if you go back to Star Wars Celebration 2017, where they had the 40th anniversary of A New Hope, they were bringing together a lot of the big names, big stars from across Star Wars. When they brought him out, you could see how nervous it was, and the reaction was absolutely insane. It was just insane. Mega.
It was beautiful.
A year after that, in 2018, they then greenlit Kenobi. And I think it was that reaction that then got us basically the prequel love. Because they saw everyone going nuts for Ewan, for Hayden, for Liam, for everyone. Go, okay, this is still that people do actually like the prequels. And it's the same thing when I was at Celebration this year when they announced the new Jedi Order and brought out Daisy Ridley. The room went absolutely nuts. The reception was a lot better than people and the actors feared. So then we had that to again come back to have it full. My only gripe with this entire episode, she didn't call him Sky Guy. That's the only thing that could have been better.
I guess that too. There was no Sky Guy with none.
But it was so good. It was
oh my god! We actually have news as well, which is completely far removed from Ahsoka, but I'm going to get it in now. That Lando is now going to be a movie.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it came out during the week that Lando is no longer going to be a series; it's now going to be a feature film.
Okay, fair.
This doesn't surprise me with what Bob Iger has said about kind of.
So one big Lando adventure as opposed to 8 smaller ones. But yeah, Donald Glover's heading it, isn't he? He's heading the project. He's starring in it. But yeah, so that's actual news that I read during the week. There's no longer going to be a limited series on Disney+. That's
a shame. I was looking forward to having Billy D. Williams sat there doing his vlog, whilst then you have Donald Glover going off doing the adventures, because that would have been amazing.
I was looking forward to Lando the Wonder Years, but...
Do you think it's maybe because of the writer strikes? They have to make a feature film as opposed to the series, most likely?
I don't know. I think it's mainly because Bob Iger went off on one, blaming Star Wars and Marvel for Disney not performing at the box office. And really, what's the next Star Wars for Heir to the Empires? The next film we're meant to get, which is a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
isn't that
one's supposed to be Heir to the Empire? Yeah.
Sequel to the sequels? Oh fuck.
No, Heir to the Empire is the culmination of the Mandoverse.
Oh, sick.
So Heir to the Empire. So the original books were written by Timothy Zahn. It was where Thrawn was originally introduced.
Yeah.
So this is where it's kind of taking those threads, bringing them all together with the Thrawn books, Rebels, everything, and then here we go, hits the Heir to the Empire film, bringing in Mando, Ahsoka, Boba Fett. It's gonna be the big thing.
It's like the MCU but Star Wars.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it's also basically gonna do for the sequels what the prequel, what Clone Wars did for the prequels. It's gonna recontextualize it. It's gonna make them. I mean, I still have my love for the sequels, but this will probably put them in a better light for a lot of other people.
Think so. Yeah, so with that, obviously, I mean, that's things like Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte, Bad Batch Season 3, when it eventually happens, it is all Disney Plus shows. So I think that maybe they don't have a lot of like feature films, movies they're putting out. So
3 that we know of. So 3 were announced this year, which was Dawn of the Jedi, which is 25,000 years before the Star Wars saga, the original trilogy. You've got the Heirs to the Empire, which will then be this particular culmination, and then you've got New Jedi Order, which is set 15 years after Rise of Skywalker, with Daisy Ridley and Rey basically setting up her own Jedi Academy. So that's kind of the 3 films we know.
What is happening to Mandalorian? Are they just doing the film and then there's no more series, or like has there been any news on that? I'm not really sure.
The news that's come out this week in relation to like that verse, so to speak, this section of the story is that Ahsoka's supposedly being greenlit for a season 2.
Thank God.
And I think Kenobi as well. Ewan McGregor's pushing for a season 2 of Kenobi.
Because they kind of left it open at the end there, didn't they?
I hope not. I really hope not. Kenobi was perfectly one and done. Does not need any extra. In fact, you can't up the ante anymore. It's just that was how it's supposed to be, and it was done so well. I wouldn't want to tarnish the first season.
I think because they put Qui-Gon at the end there as like a blue glowy, that they left it open to interpretation for a second season. But I don't know.
Blue glowy. That's just adorable. I'm looking. Yeah. So I think Ahsoka, by the sounds of what's hitting the internet, is Ahsoka's going to get a season 2. So we know Mando is going to get a season 4, which is going to be what Cara Dune was going to have, isn't it? Which was going to be Rangers of
the New Republic,
New Republic, which was going to be Cara Dune's series, and it's now been folded into being Mando's. He's set up in his retirement home, and he's quite happy with that. So I think we'll get like Mando season 4, Ahsoka season 2, and then it will lead into Heir of the Empire. But is Ahsoka season 2 going to be Rebels season 6, or is this going to create like a Rebels revival?
God, please bring it back. I can't.
Get a new season of Rebels.
I don't think so. I think Ahsoka will just continue to be Rebels essentially, because Rebels was everything including Kanan. Ahsoka is everything post Kanan. I don't know if you want to go back and do stuff without Kanan. In cartoon form. I mean, again, the story's
got Jason, haven't you? You know, what if Ezra takes Jason on as a Padawan?
Yeah, exactly.
The problem we have, though, is also then, what if Jason goes off to Luke's academy and then is also killed by Kylo Ren?
Which kind of fits nicely into talking about the new episodes that have come out, because there was so much overlap there. And I have so many things to say about the newest episode. It's unfrickin' real. Like, I lost my shit.
Let's go on episode 5, because that was episode 6. Frankly, scared me. It has made me very uncomfortable, and I don't like organs anymore. So
that fucking intro had me. Oh, I loved it.
It gave me the heebie-jeebies, boys.
Right. So episode 5, though. So we obviously have the long-awaited live-action kind of beginning of Anakin and Ahsoka. And this episode, for me, by the time you get to the end of it all, was Ahsoka's kind of putting to bed the past, and you get that by what happens with the Clone Wars and what happens. It was
Ahsoka's Gandalf moment, man. She came out of it as Ahsoka the White.
She did. She really did, but it's different to your traditional kind of redemption arc per se. There's no redemption.
She's different to your traditional wizards. She doesn't have a beard.
No. She is a wizard all intents and purposes. But more the point is, it's not a redemption arc. It's not a she has done bad. It's a new beginning. It's very much a putting the past to the past. Because when you see her in Rebels and you see her with the first time that they tell her about Vader, and you have that connection between the two. You obviously have Vader going, "The apprentice lives," where Ahsoka freaks the hell out because she's like, "Wait," and
she passes out. Yeah,
because Anakin became that. Oh shit! And it's a big moment. So to have them reunited, I love the fact that you have Hayden obviously there, along with the immortal line of, "I didn't expect to see you so soon." So
Yeah.
this is post episode 6. It's one of the things we were talking about in the previous thing when he did pop up, was people were wondering why he was dressed in the episode 3 garb. And I said at the time, it's because if you go back to Clone Wars season 7, that's literally the last time she saw him alive. Last time she saw him as Anakin, which then reflects lovely in the whole line of, "Huh, you got old." Like,
Sorry, Tess.
I was gonna say, can we talk about the epic ass lightsaber battles that happened within that sequence? Because good lord, I've not been so satisfied. I literally, I was so excited. I was like,
we are gonna get to that. Which, as I said, it's fans. Disney can't write good lightsaber battles. Dave Filoni, hold my Grogu, like just.
Hayden Christensen's like, what?
You find that obviously you had the bit on the World Between Worlds strip, and when it actually plunged like into the Clone Wars and stuff, like the CG de-aging, they just took it off of it.
Yeah, because you had enough practical effects with the smoke and everything else, the light diffusion. It didn't need it, and also this was supposed to be. It's a memory, but from a child's perspective. So child's perspective is kind of warped anyway. You see things how you want to see them, and you don't remember things entirely clearly. Whereas it's war, so she does. What she remembers more is her emotions, more than the battle itself. By the time you get to the second, which is the Siege of Mandalore, is a lot clearer. But that first one, especially, it was one of our first battles. They could have
just not had to have done the CGI on his face at all. If they were going to drop it, they could have just left it, and I don't think it would have been a problem.
I mean, I freaked out. So when obviously Anakin learned from Obi-Wan, because he had the high ground, because he cut the bridge. And, aha! You have nothing to learn. I have the high ground. It is amazing. When you see a Lando, you see the silhouette. I saw the clothes. I clocked immediately, because it's like season 2 Ahsoka, because they can't do. Because season 1 Ahsoka, especially, that outfit's a little. I don't know. You get away with it. Yeah, it's a little much.
The girl who plays baby Ahsoka is super cute, and it was funny. I was seeing people in the comments, because I've only watched bits and pieces of Clone Wars, obviously, but so I know enough. But people in the comments were like, "Oh, I realized she was young in Clone Wars, but like not that young." And you're like, "Yeah, like she was a baby," and people were like, "Holy crap!" It's like, I don't know. It really.
I did really like my favorite line probably in it. My favorite line is the clone trooper that's like, "Get to the next position." I was like, "Hey, it's Battlefront boy."
Just like the simulations.
It was just like, it's the same dude with the same gun and the same pose and the same mark of armor. I was like, he's clearly put in there to do that. And was Anakin
the Republic Commandos and made them canon? So I have 100% faith that this was him going, right, I have a chance to make a meme properly canon. Right, let's do this shit. And it worked.
And he did it. And it was great. I really liked the Obi-Wan taught me to be a Jedi in times of peace. I have to teach you to be a soldier.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, cool. Like that's amazing. Actually, like I'd never thought of it like that before for some reason.
And I love the line from Ahsoka of like, "Do I have to teach my Padawan this? Like, do you want one?"
He doesn't
it's
want.
horrible. Yeah.
I liked the visuals they did between him being Anakin and then Darth Vader. The dark and white was beautiful. The way they did that, it was so well done. So well done.
Yeah. I mean, to start off with, before we get into that part, I love the background. You have the ATTEs, you have all the commandos, you have the troopers and stuff. You know, I've been
we had the Mandalorian super commandos. I was like, let's go.
So cool.
I mean, we'll get to that. So ever since episode 2 and 3 came out, I've wanted to see proper clone troopers, because they CG'd all of them. And it looked okay, but I was like, I want to see suits. You had the proper stormtrooper suits. I want my clone trooper suits. So we've been teased over the last couple of years with the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and things, with flashbacks to Order 66. This is proper. Here's live action Clone Wars. You had Anakin in Clone Wars get up, which was just fantastic to see. But yeah, the proper sound effects, proper everything, and then you see Phase 1 Rex, not just Phase 2. We see later on. You see Phase 1 Rex as well, which is just beautiful. But yes, those fog moments with the lightning, with the shots, with everything, and then to see Vader.
Have you seen the Order 66 supercut that's going around TikTok at the moment? I think I sent it to you the other day, Tess, where they've taken all the Order 66 footage we've had now and put it all into a massive video, and it's incredible. It's so good.
Apart from the fact they take out the Jedi Survivor stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and you don't have Bad Batch in it as well.
I think so.
Yeah, because you've got to have.
I think it does.
End of Clone Wars, beginning of Bad Batch, and Fallen Order to make the complete cut. I think the super cut is the condensed cut, but you have it obviously with the March of the Jedi Temple music playing, which is just one of my all-time favorite John Williams pieces he's done. It's just a fantastic score. But to have that go into the focus with Vader, and you have obviously the thing is you had Hayden obviously play Vader anyway in Episode 3, and then come back for Kenobi. To then have, my favorite shot of those little moments was actually when he's coming back out of the World Between Worlds, and he has the whole shoulder hunch as he's coming back into it. And it's iconic from Episode 3, but you have the Vader first, then into that with Anakin with a red lightsaber. It's like, here is the pure, untapped Vader. This is the Vader we could have had if he wasn't. It
was without a doubt, it was a dream sequence, wasn't it? It was absolutely like a dream sequence for an episode, which is great. One of the things that we've not spoken about, which I really thought was very, very smart with the editing, is where we all know Jason's Force sensitive. There's no surprise there.
Yeah, I was like, oh. Okay.
Oh, what a surprise. It was the lightsaber crashes in time with the waves.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
That was interesting to me. And he's like, listen, Mom. And they're standing by the thing, and Hera's trying to listen, and then Hera can hear it. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? You're like,
it's so subtly mixed at first that when you actually pick up, I was like, I genuinely was very impressed with the sound mixing on that. I was like, this is so clever.
But then it also it gives you the idea of was it a dream sequence? He could hear it. He could hear the dream sequence, but also Hera could hear it. So, where are we? What is happening?
So, the World Between Worlds, as far as I know from the portal in Rebels itself, is connected to the real world without being fully immersed. So there are bridges in the real world, as well as it being that cosmic force. And the force is connected to all living things anyway. As Obi-Wan says, it surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together. So there are moments where they do bridge. So as far as I can tell, this world is... Cetos is a bridge world. Along with some of the Jedi temples, they have these connections to and from. So the blurred line is very much moving. So if you listen, you can hear it more, especially if you're in tune with the Force. And Jason may not have been trained, but doesn't mean he hasn't got untapped power. He's the opposite of Sabine, who has had quite a bit of training, but has no Force sensitivity, really, and no Force abilities, whereas Jason... Hera's been obviously very protective of because she knows what Kanan sacrificed, she knows what Ezra sacrificed, she doesn't want to lose her son. I get it, I could see her thought process behind it. But where he hasn't had that formal training, he still has the raw, untapped capability. He may not have done it, he may not have had the Force at all because, well, it's not a blood thing. As they talk about with a powerful Skywalker blood when you get to Episode 9, they say, well, blood isn't everything. Just because one person has the Force a lot doesn't mean someone else will have it at all. But Jason obviously has some of that in him, and it's a beautiful blend. I do love it.
I just really liked that Chopper wanted to do a napalm run on the sea, and they were like, "No, Chopper."
Okay, can we talk about that for a second? Because Gwen was like, he turned to me when we were watching it, and he was like, "Is she just gonna leave her son with Chopper?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she just fucked off, and Jason's on the cliff edge with.
So, who would you rather looking after your son? Nobody, or a completely psychotic droid who will defend him with absolutely everything he's got and mess up the world somehow. I think I'd rather go with a psychotic droid.
Yeah.
And what the worst thing was going to happen was Chopper would have pushed Jason off the cliff, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But I love later on the episode, though, is when you have Jason and Chopper talking to Hera with the, wait, got this coordinates, you need to go low. How low? Chopper's to the back going, well, low as she can get it. Very low.
So funny.
Huang's like, of course, it has to be that low. It's like
Huang is so funny. I fucking love Huang so much. David Tennant, 10 out of 10. Honestly, such a good character.
Oh, no, it was Episode 6, that thing I was going to say, so don't worry. Yeah, I really liked the rest of
that one line that absolutely made me completely freak out at the beginning.
What, they've canonized all the opening crawls now?
Yes!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
A long time ago.
We were talking about this earlier. I absolutely love it. No, I like the whole getting low, and they're like, we're running low on fuel and stuff, and all in all, the episode is amazing. I've rewatched it. No, I've not. I actually woke up early to watch it. I've not rewatched it since, actually. Usually I watch it twice a week, but the Clone Wars stuff was incredible, man. Like, Rex was great. I love seeing Rex. I love seeing the Mandalorian Super Commandos. I know it was like a Ahsoka sequence and stuff, but it would have been nice to have had like a Bo-Katan cameo. Like, maybe you've seen stack off just to be part of the 5%.
The
5% club.
Oh god. Are we not going to talk about the fucking Purgle? Because goddamn. Goddamn.
I mean, I'm loving the Purgle when it comes to this. I mean, it's all been set up for quite a while now. Like, it's been obvious, and it's lovely. It's
so good, and I loved that whole sequence at the end of the episode with them. I just thought it was fantastic. And I was so happy to see. I just love them. I just love giant tentacle whales in space, okay? I can't.
I did sit there going, she's going to Pinocchio this. I was like, she's 100% going to Pinocchio this.
But it was such a beautiful sequence when she was talking to it, and like the biggest, like the mother of all. And she was like talking to it, and she was like, "Oh," and then they get in there at the end, and she turns to him, and he's like, "Oh, so they're taking us there, right?" And she's like, I don't know. And you're like, she's like, I have no idea, man. I'm here. We're doing the thing.
Well, he was like, what do you mean you have no idea? Wait, we're just going? We have no say? No, we're going.
We're going. We're here.
Just chill. Just Ahsoka just being completely chill at this point, going, yep.
Fucking love her.
Meanwhile, you have Carson, who is bullshitting his way through the New Republic, going, well, look, you're not going to believe me, but
you don't
have to tell you the story. And then it's going to be like, well, I see nothing. Look up. Just Purgle everywhere. Like, oh, get out that way.
Yeah, he's like, get out there. I love that, man. The fucking gaslighting. I don't know what you're talking about. Yep. We're not here. It's fine.
That was, and I think, is it this episode they mentioned Senator Organa as well?
Yes.
I think it's the episode.
Organa can only buy us so much time. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm just having, it's like that whole thing after Terry Pratchett died, where they're just like, if you say someone's name, they're never truly dead. And I quite enjoy that we're not getting like a CGI Carrie Fisher. They're just going, by saying the name, she's still alive in the universe.
Yeah.
Which of course she is in this time point, but they could just not said it.
They didn't need any extra. It didn't need here's a CGI hologram or that. It was just a simple, Senator Organa's doing this. It was a very simple line. There was nothing to, and that's the thing with Filoni, though. Filoni, I think.
Yeah, in Filoni we trust.
To be fair, though, he was trained by George Lucas doing the Clone Wars. I trust his hands more than I do Kathleen Kennedy's, and I love Kathleen Kennedy with some of the stuff she's done. But
at this point, I trust him more than George. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's a big ass statement, but again, considering his episodes 7, 8, and 9 treatments, I'm like, I prefer what we got.
Matt discussed this. We just discussed this like yesterday and today a little bit. It's all the little tiny details. If you're a Star Wars aficionado, you will know those tiny little small details throughout the entirety of it. And it's just beautiful because it brings me so much joy. I'm like that and that and that. And I'm like, oh my God, they mentioned this person and they've done this. And it's like, and it's just, it brings me immense joy. I can't express.
I genuinely feel like visually this episode was incredible. The lightsaber fights between Ahsoka and Anakin were phenomenally choreographed, like incredibly so. And it was a nice middle ground between the over choreography of the prequels and the sparse choreography of the original trilogy. It felt like a straddle point for the two.
Can we talk about Sith Eyes Ahsoka? Because Sith Eyes Ahsoka was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I really even I was watching it with Chanel, bless her, and it was she's not seen the Clone Wars. She's seen I showed her the Siege of Mandalore during the Mandalorian just to put some context on something. And when she saw that part of the flashback, you're right. It's what Tess said. She was there going, I didn't realize Ahsoka was this young when she did this. It's like, oh yeah,
she wee baby.
I'm liking Rosario more and more in the role. I didn't dislike her anyway. I know a lot of people are just kind of saying she's not playing Ahsoka, but I really like her.
No,
I do too.
I didn't think she was a bad casting to start with. I think she's just matured more into the role. I think she's just got more comfortable in it as she's gone along. That's the way I felt about it.
Yeah, and she, I watched a few TikToks with her, and she expressed, they were like, "Did you watch Clone Wars and this?" And she's like, "Yeah, extensively." She was like, "I watched everything, trying to mimic the moves," and she was trained by someone in, I can't remember the martial art, and she would bring footage of Clone Wars and bits and pieces to them and be like, "Can we do this?" And they're like, "Hey, well, that's impossible, but we can do something close." She's working incredibly hard to play Ahsoka. And
well, she's also worked with Ashley Eckstein, talking to her as well about what she brought to them in terms of the voice. The voices. It's harder to play a character by voice purely than it is by voice and by body.
Why didn't they bring on Ashley Eckstein to do it live action?
The way it was basically brought about, and I'm trying to say this in the right words, is the character was basically written to the point of view of being Afro-American. And they also, Rosario Dawson was basically that.
Was she?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love Rosario, dude. She's great in absolutely everything. She's so underrated as an actress. She deserves this. Like, she works so hard. It just always wondered, because obviously, you know, with Katie Sackhoff taking on live action Bo-Katan, we've got live action Thrawn's Been Eating Good in a Different Galaxy.
Last book, which we're going to get to in a minute.
It's like 50 years too, but.
So no, I just wondered, but no, Rosario's doing so good.
Yeah. I mean, just like to be fair, of course, you go back to Firefly, another bit of speech she's been in as well. She's a massive nerd, just like Katie Sackhoff.
That's where I know her from. Oh my god!
No, Rosario's not in Firefly.
Are you sure?
Like 100%.
Okay, where do I know her from then?
Clerks.
No, she's Nightingale. MCU.
She's Nightingale in Defenders.
Thinking of
she's Becky in Clerks. She's in Sin City.
Yep.
Yeah.
Becky in Clerks. That's where you'll know probably Tess.
Yeah, that's where I know.
She's definitely in Firefly, unless you're thinking about like Marina Bakarin.
No, I'm thinking of because she voices the voice of Ketsu.
Chicken Ketsu curry.
Gina Torres. That was it.
That was a good one, wasn't it? Gina Torres, yeah. No,
Gina Torres.
Yeah, Rosario's
just like
Defenders, Sin City. She's great in Sin City, but different reasons. Yeah, so end of the episode was great. Having the Republic fleet there was awesome. Carson stalling tactics reminded me a lot of like one of my favorite Poe moments when he's talking to the First Order and he's asking for General Hugs.
Oh, beginning of episode 8. Yeah.
General Hugs. It's General Hugs. I didn't realize he was saying hugs until I watched it with subtitles. And I was like, oh, he's not asking for hugs. He's asking for hugs. I was like, this is so good. Kind of the same energy as that. But I wish like Dave Filoni was there with him. So they had Carson and Dave Filoni's Trapper?
Yeah, Trapper Wolf, yeah.
Is it Trapper Wolf and Carson?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so good.
There's
a cat. There's a lot of cats.
Here's a cat. I love cats. Cats are awesome. Mine is called Sabine because of Rebels.
I love that.
The director's squad is Rick Famuyiwa, Dave Filoni, and I can't remember Carson Ray's actual actor's director's name, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it ends off with that, and then obviously you might as well get into the other big bit, which was this week's episode.
Oh,
I have so much to say.
And the one thing that people could stop complaining about now, when they went, "Oh, it's cool that we have a witch, but she's not doesn't look like a traditional like Dathomir witch." Here you go. Here's the Great Mother. Here are actual Dathomir witches.
So the actual I think first step, the very first step is Ahsoka and Huyang inside the Purgil and tell me one of the stories. Why don't you tell me one of the stories a long time ago in a galaxy far
away?
I know. Gwen was like, "What if they're talking about us?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, no, I realized it's just taken all those opening crawls and it's canonized the crawl, and I was like, that's very smart.
I love it.
Because are the crawls something from the Jedi archives? or the archives of this storytelling. Do you know what I
What I
mean?
love though is the fact that when she sat there talking about the story, she's talking about parts 1, 2, and 3. So you have the original trilogy, prequels and sequels. Well, obviously, part 1's the best. So
Yeah.
take
No,
that
no,
as you
cool.
were talking about the prequels and the original trilogy, but it's fantastic.
That's what I thought was incredibly smart. I thoroughly thought that was a very clever bit of writing. And yeah, this truly was, I think, an episode of Rebels, because that was all we really saw of Ahsoka in that episode.
Yeah. And I was so great. Oh God, this episode. I want to watch it like 100 times. I probably will watch it 100 times over again. I lived for this episode. I can't. I don't have anything else to say right now in this moment.
So obviously, as I said, we open up then with that, and then we get into the ship with Sabine. So you get into this giant ass hyperspace ring, which is on its way to Peridia, which we find out is the name of the planet. And I love the fact as it goes in though, they get told about what this planet really was. It's like, basically a giant ass graveyard, and then you just get the ring, which is you go, oh, it's a lovely ring. It's like, no, it's a giant ass whale graveyard.
Well, it was the end point for Purgo, isn't it? It's the end migration point. It's where they go to die. If we could just point out at this point that Maul and Asajj and Talzin are from a different galaxy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's interesting. I was like,
I've been reading a lot of people talking about this episode, and no one in any of the write-ups has made a big deal of, so Maul is from a different galaxy.
Maul may not be. It's the ancestors. So it's all about the ancestors. So
well, they said it was the home planet, wasn't it? But as a species, they're not native to what we know. And I was like, that's a really big thing. Because what if they're magic? That would imply that the Force does exist in the other galaxy. But what if, the magic is only from that area of space? And that's why only the Night Sisters have it. I was like, what a big thing.
Oh, that.
Yeah, interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna be thinking about that now.
Because no one else uses that green magic and reanimation and stuff except for the Night Sisters. And if they're from a completely different galaxy, what if that's a form of power that is kind of rooted over there and is more powerful over there? Hence why I don't think the Night Troopers are necessarily alive.
That is the thing.
I like that everyone just stopped. Right, because I read a thing earlier, and obviously we'll get to it, but Enoch, the awesome face-plated trooper, who absolute legend. Well, he looks like one. I don't know enough about it. But Enoch is a biblical name, and it's someone who was spared by the hand of God, and saved from damnation. He was an angel.
Yeah,
so
Enoch was
ooh,
you have the Book of Enoch, all about the. Okay, there's a Book of Enoch. It talks about Enoch and God saving Enoch, and it's a whole biblical angel and God situation going on there.
He's the only one who doesn't have the red tape around him. So what if he's the only one that's still alive?
Could he be Kanan? No, I'm just kidding.
No, still alive there. Not reanimated, still alive.
Kanan is dead. There's no way.
I know. I keep making that joke too, and then I'm like, nah, he's dead. Let him die. Let him rest.
I think all the troopers there are like zombie troopers. They're the Night Troopers, which I think were in the original Thrawn novel.
There's a really cool book, which it's not canon, but it's called Death Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about zombie troopers, and it is pretty awesome.
I think they're all reanimated, potentially. And the Enoch isn't an accidental name. I think is a very purposeful reference. He was there, and he's in charge alongside Thrawn because he's the only one that's still living.
Which we have does not do things by accident.
Mm-hmm. No,
not at all.
Corey gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah,
I know he did, but I loved it. I was like, yes, he's so creepy. I love this.
In the last couple of months, I have read 5 out of the 6 Thrawn books. I read the first one. I've now missioned through the rest of them.
That's my
I've rewatched Rebels. I have literally got everything geared up for Thrawn.
Yep.
And as much as people can say he looks like Elon Musk trying to join the Blue Man Group, I don't think you could have got it any other way.
Oh, I can't unsee it now.
I can't unsee it now either. Fuck.
It's like as soon as my girlfriend saw Thrawn in Rebel, she's like, "Hey, it's handsome Squidward." I'm like, now I can't unsee that. Thank you, love. That is just in my head.
There is that shot before the Chimera turns up.
Yeah.
When they're on top of the mountain, and it's a distance shot, and you see the howling wolves, and I was there for a second, like, are those the Loth wolves?
That's what I said that to Gwen, and he's like, wrong planet. And I was like, yeah, I understand that, but still, there's fucking wolves. But then
they were magical, though. They were magic wolves, right?
Right. Thank you. Ah! I'm so glad you I'm so glad you noticed that, because I was like, oh, the wolves, and then Gwen was like,
I'm like, if this is the planet that Ezra ended up on, it's not coincidence. I don't think they are the Loth wolves after what we saw.
They're the howlers, which we see later.
The howlers.
But
yeah.
At the same time, I had the same thought. But then, yes, you do see. So obviously, before we get,
I'm glad the three of us went. Those look like Lothar wolves, and it makes sense that they're here.
100%. But obviously, before you get to that point, you do have the whole bit of Sabine, who's still. I love the line from Ahsoka earlier, where she's like, "Well, that's the only choice she could make." With Huang, it's like, well, I'm sorry, but Huang sees the logic of, well, you see it from this perspective, she sees it from this perspective. You can't see eye to eye with her. You may not be able to understand her, but she's lost everything. She now thinks she's lost you.
Yeah.
One person she can have less is Kanan. Is Ezra. So she's going to go and fight Ezra. So you get that. I love the bit in the prison where you just hear the rumble.
I've got to be honest. I really liked Ahsoka's line, which is just like, what she done, all of this could have been avoided. Or like, he's solely responsible for whatever comes next.
Yep.
And then
he's not wrong.
But then we need to talk about the sequence after that, if I can get to that, where you have I forget his name.
Baylan Skoll?
Baylan.
Thank you. Baylan. Why did I forget his name? I had like a memory blip then, where he's talking to his apprentice, Padawan. Let's just put air quotations there.
Yeah, Shin.
Shin. And they're talking, and he's talking about how he's not trying to bring darkness or light. He's trying to stop the cycle, because the cycle is continuing, and he's talking about having to break that cycle. And so you realize, you're like, oh, he doesn't want Thrawn to take power and control the galaxy. He doesn't want the Jedi to come back. He's
after something different. He's after something on that planet, and I don't know what it is.
No.
And this is me talking. I know an awful lot, and I have my research. So I'm sitting on going, what the fuck is he talking about here? Because I know a lot about the Bogan objects they keep in this place and the Jedi Temple. I know the Emperor took a lot of them, but what the hell is hidden there that can bring ruin or power?
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I like the way Shin's almost like, let's go get him. And he's just like, no. That's not what we're here to do.
No.
I've seen enough of it. I'm sick of it. He's got his own agenda, which we said from the start, though, we don't feel like he's totally a bad guy.
No. Quain's like, Grey Jedi. I'm like, please stop.
You load up the Freddie Prinze Jr. video.
That video makes my life. I watch it like once a week. I love that man just ranting about Grey Jedi. It's my favorite thing ever.
I love it, but the irony could be that then Filoni comes along and introduces the Grey Jedi anyway.
Right? He could do it. He could just be like, okay, it's canon now.
Do you know what? I genuinely think just turning around and referring to Baylan and Shin as mercenaries is just like enough. Like, orange is a middle point between yellow and red. So they're not quite bleeding kyber crystals, but they're not like yellow lightsabers. And just being like, they're mercenaries, be like, yeah, I fully just accept that they've given up on it all and they've just gone and been mercenaries.
Well, because when you have that, enters Thrawn, you have him where he's talking to him and he's like, oh, you used to be part of the Jedi Order. And he's like, I left that a long time ago. And there's like that whole conversation there.
The same General Baylan Skoll. It's like, and this is one thing I love about them bringing Lars Mikkelsen in, because that voice is so
It's
powerful.
Just iconic.
And I don't think you could have done anyone else for it.
I've not been intimidated by a bad guy in Star Wars ever. Like Palpatine was a bit campy for me. I never really found him that intimidating and stuff. Vader, I guess Vader was intimidating when I was younger, but as you learn more about him, he's less so. Thrawn, genuinely, I don't know if it's a bit like the organ swells and the trooper that chanting his name, and then it's just the voice. It just really creeped me out. And if I think about it, it just makes me go, ugh.
It's so level and calm. That's the whole point. Thrawn, rare. There's only a couple instances where he even raises his voice. He's so just calm. Level throughout the master situation. It's just like, this is someone who is very unhinged. And if you read the Thrawn books, especially if you read the second trilogy, which is the Ascendancy, which is based on his rise through the Chiss Ascendancy and their battle against the Grisks and everything else that goes on in their world, and they're part of the galaxy. You have this character who has no idea what he's doing in any social situation, has no idea in the political realm, puts his foot wrong in everything, and yet can absolutely pick apart any enemy in a battle situation to the point that even the Chiss go, you are either going to bring us the greatest success ever or ruin us. There is no in between. And they exile him, which is how you then get him into the galaxy where we are. So the proper, the lesser spaces they call it, because they're out in far fringes in the unknown regions in the chaos. So they exile him to where the Empire is. The Empire then pick him up and go, he's a bit good. Emperor goes, I like you. I'm going to train you up as my own kind of guinea pig here, and kind of creates the Thrawn we now know. So by the time you get to this point, Thrawn has basically taken over the entire Ascendancy by his military prowess and been so ridiculous they went, we don't know if you're going to ruin us or bring us success, we're exiling you. The Empire went, we're going to create an entire new rank for you because you're too good. He then gets exercised to this new galaxy where he's like, okay, it's just me and a bunch of troopers, but I have allies and Night Sisters. Excellent. Dark magic time. Let's see what I can do. He is just insane. And then that's why he's so level, because he's just like, nothing you can do surprises me. I will outsmart all of you. And like his line of just, I want everything. Now I know it's Ahsoka coming. I want her history, her background. I want her master. I want everything. Because that's how he learns. It's just chilling.
Because it reminds me of Rebels, right? Like, and he did some awful shit in Rebels. He was out of all the baddies, he just doesn't care, and he did some really awful things in the last season of Rebels. And there were so many I can't even pinpoint one, but it was like that, like you said, it was like that his intrigue and collection of having to know the ins and outs of every like species or person or thing within of his enemies. Like he has to know what he's fighting against, which I find really interesting. And I always said to Matt, I remember when I was watching Rebels, I was like, he is so calm. It's eerie. It's eerie how calm he speaks and how calm his manner is. No matter what happens, he never raises his voice, and that's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
When he sees Sabine and he's just like, it's nice to hear a familiar name. I was like,
I almost felt bad for you for a minute. God damn it. Making me feel emotional.
Really properly creeps me out. Like the organ stabs and everything. Like the troopers chanting the name was like the Battle of Pelennor Fields or the Orcs chanting Grond with the battering ram.
Yes, 100%.
And having the chanting Thrawn, and then you got like all the shattered, like is it Kirigami?
The idea of like
Kirigami? Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Fixing the brokenness of gold. Yeah. So, incredible. Go on.
No, go ahead. No, I was just gonna talk about the costuming, which I know you were gonna get to, but something that was really interesting to me is when they brought in Enoch and they brought in all these bits and pieces, and later on as well, you kind of get a snippet of it, and we'll get to that, I'm sure. But it's giving me Eastern Asian Japanese, traditional Japanese, and I love that. I absolutely love the samurai aspect of it. Is fantastic, and I love that they did that.
Half samurai, half the art where they take the broken bits of pottery and put them back together with gold. It's that kind of level of construction, which is then we have the Commander Dante Stormtrooper Enoch of.
Well, it's the death mask, isn't it? It's quite a classic, sitting Gladiator and stuff. Everything like that. It's a death mask. I love it. I love variants on Stormtrooper armor because you've seen enough of them that a change is interesting.
Yeah,
and it was
we've had it where even a friend of mine was pointing out earlier, saying how the red symbol. Now, it's to me, I've looked at. It's actually the AT-AT pilot symbols. It's the red Galactic Empire symbol.
Yeah, because it's got the fins that come down here as well.
So the actual symbol though is the silver Galactic Empire sigil, but it's in red rather than black. But because it looks kind of more hexagonal, it's saying it's almost pointing towards the First Order. So you can already see some first potential influences to what's to come, even just through costuming.
Interesting.
So it's attention to detail. But it's Filoni. He is not one to shy away from detail. He'll put in something that people go, huh, okay, that's cool. Ignore it. Come back to 10 years later, go, oh my god, this has sprung all the way from this tiny little thing here.
Yeah. I really liked the way, as creeped out as I am by him, I loved how Thrawn spoke to the Night Sisters. But he was like so polite to them. But it was like, that was really unnerving. He was like, thank you for doing this. And I was like, oh, stop it. Stop being nice.
I almost felt for you for a minute, you psycho bastard.
Yeah.
That's Thrawn to a T, though, and he does it so well. But I love that part. It's just like, unfortunately, you might have to call upon your dark magic. Yeah, the fates demand it. It's like they know what's coming. They go, yep, we know you're going to need us. But yeah, even then, he's still polite. Of just sorry.
Having three of them, as much as I think Shakespeare is irrelevant, having a coven of three witches in red is very, talking about fate is very Macbeth.
It's very Macbeth.
Yeah.
Boy, toil and trouble.
I'm glad they didn't say that. But oh no, they're comedy witches. That's the worst. But I thought they were very striking. The reds they used on the fabric were incredible. But it's why I think it's tied into the red ribbons and rope that's tied around the stormtroopers.
Yeah, I loved that. I love that aspect. It's so good.
Then
obviously it's not accidental. They weren't wrapping presents to people. They all fell over at once. Went, oh no! Like we've been summoned. One of them had a bow stuck to his head. It was horrible. He had a bit of teletape attached to his finger. So, yeah. So then Thrawn makes a deal with Sabine, and he's just like, we leave in 3 rotations. This is the only way off the planet. If you don't make it, you're gonna stay here.
Yeah. And I love this. So then helping the other side of it, which is then Sabine's hunt for Ezra. The entire reason that Thrawn's going to be coming back to the galaxy is because she wants to go and find her friend. And you get to the Nito, these wonderful little turtle rock things.
Bro, they're Cooper Troopers. They're like Cooper Trooper hobbits.
They're more akin to the hobbits, or not hobbits, the Pampers as you see in Rings of Power, I think.
So
yeah, but they had little suits on. Oh, before that, the bandits.
The bandits, yeah.
The bandits.
No, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was about to say before the bandits. Just going off what you said, Tess, about the very Asian armor and stuff.
Yeah. With the samurai fold of the base and everything. I was like, oh my god.
And the weapons, but I was hoping they were going to freak out when they saw a lightsaber because we don't know if lightsabers exist in that galaxy.
Yeah, I did actually think about that as well. I was like, they are not reacting to us.
So what I'm kind of working on, my theory at the moment is the weapon or whatever Baylan Skull's after is the technology that the Emperor then uses on Exegol with the fleet, because you can't go from a Death Star to an entire fleet of planet-killing weapons overnight. And I reckon he might find something to then bring balance to the galaxy.
I think you're right.
Everyone's screwed.
Because when Sabine's in prison and the Chimera appears, it says door opens. It suddenly appears. It's not a big descent. It appears from somewhere.
Yeah.
Something that I forgot about that was a detail that I really liked is when you see the ship fly over the planet just as Thrawn's coming in, and you see where all the damage from the Purgle was.
Yes, I love that.
That was nuts. That was a moment for me where I was like, look at it!
But I think you're on for the Exegol thing. Because the Chimera didn't, you would have seen it coming. And it just kind of appeared. So I think you're right with the Exegol thing. I hadn't thought about that. Because it says door opens. It appeared through some sort of portal or something. There was a big flash of white and it appeared.
That's a good point.
It didn't do like a slow descent, because if it did a slow descent, they would have seen it when they were stood there.
Yeah, fair point.
Anyway, so yeah, go on there. You and Gawain said about the small hobbit turtle crabs.
So we had this like whole debate because they came up on screen, and obviously I was like, oh look, and then I was like, I wonder if their shells are like attachable or detachable. And then I saw the baby, and I was like, oh no, oh they're born like that. And Gawain looked at me, he's like, that would hurt, and I was like,
they're adorable little guys.
Like, yeah, they're so cute. But like, I was debating. I was like, why am I thinking so hard about this? Like, why does it matter if they can detach the little rock shells? It doesn't matter. I was like,
the big question for everyone is, how do they put the tiny waistcoats on?
thank you. Thank you.
The shells are detachable rocks. They're like false rock. They're fine.
How'd you put
Like,
a
oh
little-
my God. And why are their houses, if they wear rocks, why are their houses in the shapes of rocks? I was like, they're like show houses.
Because they're
I
hermit
need a whole
crabs.
Yeah, I need a whole TV show just based on these guys.
Is it they're called Nomi?
The Naughty.
Naughty, that's it.
Okay.
Nomi, which is adorable. I like how the Howler was starting to behave like a dog as well. When like Sabine was like, "Good boy,
like,
you did good."
Otto, down. You will behave.
When he runs away, when he runs away and comes back, and she starts telling him off and calling him a coward, and goes, "Go away," and he follows her, but like a proper.
I love the prolonged shot as well, where it's just like she goes one way, sends him the other,
And then he
it's
comes
wait,
back.
and then it comes back across the screen. Like, yeah,
I loved it so much. I loved it. I was like, oh god. And then when she's telling him not to eat the, what are they called?
Naughty.
I'm not gonna remember that. And she's like, good, you were so good. I was like, oh, what a baby.
well,
Because
I love
when
the fact that he brought them to her by going, "I want a drink." Just, oh, you're thirsty, grand, thanks. Like
When I first saw it, I was like, "That's such an evil-looking creature." I was just like, "That's horrific!" Like the big extended jaw.
it's the same
And then
as
if
the
you know what
Mastiffs, which the Sand people have.
Yeah,
It looks like a crocodile wolf.
yeah.
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
just like, "It's an evil-looking creature," and then it started acting like that. I was like, "No, it's endearing, and I love it."
So we're getting to
No,
my
you
favorite
can't, you
bit.
can't have a howler. No, the problem is though. Again, you say howler, and I get my mind is in the letter from Hogwarts, where you just have like Julie Andrews absolutely chewing out Rupert Grint.
Let's not bring turf wars into this conversation.
So we don't need that ring on them. But yes, but then of course it's the Ezra Bridger. I love the fact it's like he loves her the Imperial sigil on her arm. It's like, wait, I got one. Like
I
got
love
one.
it.
I like that they all have their little rebel icons around them, and
Yeah.
they were
Like,
just like,
Ezra Bridger. I was like,
Ezra Bridger. Yes, right this way. And then you had the line of, I knew you would come.
right.
And then
Oh,
Let's set Tess off, because she reacted to this far bigger than I did. My reaction to this was my reaction to Rex, but
I
let's
didn't
continue.
think we'd get him in this episode though. I thought we'd have him at the end of the season, not
this
here.
is exactly.
So
this is
what the
exactly
fuck we got to
it.
come to the next episode? I have no idea.
Yeah, I agree with Phil because I felt the exact same way because Gawain halfway through the episode was like, oh, well, she's looking for Ezra. Do you think they'll put him in here? And I was like, nah, Filoni, it's too soon. Fuck you. I was not expecting that. And then he turned around and I was like, ah! And I screamed and I cried. And I was like, can we just say the actor is Ezra Bridger. Ezra fucking Bridger. I was like, the chemistry, the accent, the mannerisms. I was like, this man is Ezra Bridger, and I lost it. I lost it, and I cried. I wept. I'm still thinking about it to this moment.
I had a friend of mine who pointed out that, well, it's a bit shitty actually how they had, Thrawn's been looking for him for a decade and Sabine finds him in like 5 minutes. Like, no, he actually says the last specific words were, this is our intel on his last known location. He's not looking for him. He's just keeping tabs on him.
Yeah.
Galaxy. There's no point to him chasing him. It's just like, we'll keep an eye on him, but like he's not going to do anything. He can't do anything. If he dares try, we'll kill him. So I just keep an eye on where he is. And I was like, okay, yeah, actually, fair point on make. It's not a hunt for him from Thrawn's perspective. Thrawn probably went, you have stranded me here. Get the hell off my ship. That was more his reaction rather
But
than.
you know what makes that even more sinister is that he just sends Balin and Shin just to be like, and when she finds him, kill them both.
Yeah.
Someone who's not that bothered about where he is. He's just like, give them a bit of hope, like dangle the carrot and then slaughter them. And I was
his thing was like, keep your word. Your word was you can see him and then destroy him. And then what I love even after that was then and if a space war happens to come near the planet, destroy it with prejudice. Like, just
the
The line where Ezra was like, take me home, I lost it. I love how Sabine was basically like, just let me enjoy this moment here because I can't tell you that I fucked up by bringing. Which is interesting because I had that too. I was like, Matt, something's off. Is he going to die? Are they going to kill him off? What's happening? And Matt was like, calm the down. And I was like, it's Star Wars. I'm triggered. Everyone dies. I don't know.
I get a voice note that was timed at 6:30 this morning, which is, so I kind of woke up and I saw this voice note from Tess and I was like, what's going on? And it's like 6:30 in the morning rant about how he can't go home. Lethal's not there. What's going to happen? Like they can't kill him. And it was this panic rant. And I had to be like, Lethal's still there because we saw Ryder.
I forgot about the opening sequence to us.
I was like, one, I don't think they'll kill him off. Like, not now.
Just 6 morning rants to Matt about Star.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to kill Ezra off at this point. They might kill Sabine off. I don't know, but I don't think they'll drop in Ezra just to off him in 2 episodes' time.
Yeah, God, I hope not.
I can't see any point in that. The whole build-up, there's been 6-episode build-up to that moment. I can't see them going, okay, maybe Sabine dying, but not Ezra. I can't see that.
I'm really excited for, like, because maybe the whole thing is that, like, Sabine gets there to bring him his lightsaber, which obviously she's going to give back to him because Ezra Bridger, and I'm very fucking excited to see him fight. That's all I can think about. I just bring on next week. I can't wait. I'm literally buzzing.
I want to know what Ahsoka's going to do when she gets there.
Oh, yeah. See, I've completely forgotten about Ahsoka at this point because I was like, Ezra.
I mean, they're going to try and end Thrawn. That's the whole point. They can't have Thrawn coming back.
No.
But he will come back.
Thrawn's going to come back. It'll be something to do with the First Order. He's going to come back.
100% because that's the Empire.
Yeah, and like if you think about it, if we don't have Thrawn, who's the baddie? Like who's the antagonist in the story, right? Like,
even Moff Gideon was, again, that whole inner circle was like, well, we're waiting for Grand Admiral Thrawn to come back. So, Thrawn's on his way back. He's going to come back. So,
100%.
Ahsoka's going there basically to find out what the hell's going on with Thrawn, try to stop him from coming back, fail, but then try and get Ezra and Sabine back.
On a complete side note, you've just reminded me by saying about Moff Gideon. Watching Bad Batch Season 2. The Dr. Pershing outfit, his lot, when they're working with the Kaminoans, I was like, that is a thing. It's not just a supposed thing. And I was like, they actually are doing that. And I thought that was amazing. Sorry, you just said connected to Moff Gideon, and I was like, that happened during the week, and I thought it was amazing.
I really didn't like Moff Gideon.
You get to the finale.
Love Moff Gideon.
The finale of Bad Batch Season 2. Your heart's
not yet. I've watched the opening 2 or 3 episodes. I like the new armor, how they've modified it and stuff, and I like that it's even more expendables than Season 1.
The finale is going to absolutely break your heart for 3 reasons, and I can't say any of them just yet.
This is what happened with that earlier when I was just like, this episode of Ahsoka's giving me the heebie-jeebies, and she went, can you tell me without telling me? I went, I can't say a word.
Yeah. Jedi. There's so much I can't say, but always like prepare for an emotional roller coaster of just.
This is it though, like Star Wars, prepare for devastation. Never give yourself hope.
Well, it's like this is the thing. I was in a panel at Star Wars Celebration for the High Republic, and someone said to them the day before, I was asking about her new book. She went, does it have a happy ending? It says it's called Cataclysm for a reason.
Yeah, and it's Star Wars.
Be prepared.
Do you know what? It's all the press tour and everything, and the initial posters for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And when he revealed the cast list of everyone that was in it and just put "Don't get attached," That should be the tagline to everything Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Literally. And it's so funny, like I said this last time, but when people ask me about Star Wars now, because I've gotten to the point now where it's unfortunately my whole personality. I'm like, you will cry. You will cry. And if you don't cry, you're a horrible unemotional person. Like, there is no way you don't cry through Star Wars. Every single one of us right now has cried multiple times to Star Wars.
I'm intrigued. My intrigue is what's Ahsoka going to do when she turns up?
Yeah.
And how are they going to get back? Because as they said, that was where the Pearl Girl went to die.
Yep.
Like, so is it a one? That's the migration point. So is it like a one-way street, or is it like birds flying south for the winter?
I don't know. I think personally it's a two-way street, and I think it's because the Pearl Girl breed there, go to the other galaxy, live their lives, go back to die.
Yes.
And
It's like the elephant. It is like the elephant graveyard in the Lion King.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
It's the elephant graveyard. Yeah, 100%.
Instead of
Yeah.
Scar, we've got Thrawn. Yeah.
How creepy was it? Literally just going, cool, here's a nice pretty ring. Oh, wait a second. No, it's just bones. Just going through it.
So, like, Thrawn is, especially after seeing him in live action now, like the most intimidating Star Wars villain.
I don't think they could have got anyone else to play him other than Lars Mikkelsen, though.
No, but I think over everything, like,
I agree.
he makes Palpatine look like a clown, and
Palpatine was a clown.
He was. It was a bit annoying. He's so intimidating. It genuinely made me uncomfortable watching it. Like, what a great villain! But
I thought Snoke was more intimidating than Palpatine.
I
And they're like
really-
basically this.
I wanted Snoke to be someone,
Yeah, right.
not a failed clone or
Give
whatever.
Snoke a chance.
Yeah, that's an entire run for another day, because that shit could go on for quite a while.
I initially, and when you first saw him, you were like, "Oh, he's giant. Why is he so big?"
So big.
Yeah,
Oh.
Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, Thrawn genuinely makes me uncomfortable. Like everything, the music. I sent Phill a video. I don't know if I sent it to you, Tess, which was they took that scene of Thrawn appearing, but put it to Black Sabbath's War Pigs instead. Oh, it's so
No,
good.
you didn't
It's
send.
amazing.
Why don't we just have a group chat, and then you wouldn't have to send us all separate videos?
Yeah, that's true. I can't remember who I send what to anymore.
Just
No.
we'll organize after the show.
Huh?
I'm missing out.
So we'll organize that after the show.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I'm missing out, Matt. Thanks.
But it's a really good. It is really cool, and it's less creepy. And I think part of it is the organ stabs as well.
You keep going on about this. It's really
I know.
haunting you, Matt.
It has all. That's the thing. It's just really creeped me out. But it's like Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean 2, when he's on the organ, makes me really creepy. So it might just be organs. I don't know.
I mean, Thrawn's
just
theme
have-
from Rebels is one of my all-time favorite bits of Star Wars music.
Yeah.
It's just so creepy anyway. This
So
is
good.
another level on top of that.
But
Yeah.
it's also like I don't know if I'm not creeped out because like I like all the baddies. Like I just have my heart swells for the baddies.
Oh no, no,
So, like,
I adore the darker side of things when it comes to it, but he is just chilling. The only thing I thought originally I saw him was just you see the eyes and it's intense. I thought the
yeah,
hair
they
was
did
odd,
really
and
good
just like,
job with the eyes. Like
Yeah.
a really good job. I was like,
Because-
ooh, that's
all the descriptors are red glowing eyes. But they don't go OTT. It's not like Demon Headmaster sort of like glowing eyes.
it's not like. Can I just point out, you know, whose eyes are really bad? Hera's.
No, they're all right. They're just very, very green.
They're
Have
just
you
so
seen-
blue.
The Disneyland Hera,
Yes.
the Disneyland face actress Hera, I think looks better than Hera does in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's something wrong with her face paint, and it. Not to get picky here, but there's something really weird about her face paint. There's no
not
depth
thick
to it.
enough. It's not
Yes.
thick enough because you
Yeah.
see too much of the actual pigment under.
The actual skin, yeah, and they put
Oh.
blush on top of it, which is
Speaking of
weird.
makeup, Can we talk about the Ahsoka with no headband and how it was just really weird?
That was weird. That
It
was
wasn't.
so
So
weird.
everyone's been saying that, but to me, it's not too weird because if you go back to the Clone Wars, you do see Togruta with no marking, so no headbands or anything. So you do see the actual line from skin to the monster.
Dude, but it was just weird.
It's interesting because then you think of because I think of the Twi'lek and the head as well. Yeah, and it's ooh, is it the same? And they always wear those cool Hera wears those cool headbands or whatever, and it's the same situation.
When you see them without the headband on, they're super weird.
So weird. It's just it makes me uncomfy. I don't know.
They've all got Bib Fortuna head.
Yeah, 100%.
So weird. But yeah, naked Ahsoka face wasn't brilliant. I was like,
and on that particular note, yeah, no, it is. Yeah, no, it is a thing, but it's if you're not expecting it, it's a little weird to see the first of a no headband, just that transition. But what I like though is the makeup's done so well. That's why it looks odd, is because it is quite natural, and you're not used to it.
Yeah, and it's who are we to judge? This isn't fucking real. Do you know what I mean?
No. It's real to me.
It's real to me.
You know what I mean.
It's really funny because Chanel was kind of saying with the Purgle, she got really annoyed that they had the kelp stuff in their teeth, and she was like, "There's no kelp in space," and I was like, "They're whales that travel hyperspace by themselves. I'm not worried about them not being space kelp."
Yeah, I mean, there's not plankton fucking floating around in the middle of space, but at the same time, it's not real.
It's not real.
That's why you can hear sound effects and the way lasers failing other bits of pieces. Look, the science doesn't have to be exact. The casting does. That's
you can pretend. We can live in the.
Yeah, so hoping we get Zeb soon as well. Zeb and Callus.
Zeb and Callus. Although I don't know, you probably noticed it, Phil, and I told Matt about it, but there was this TikTok, and I didn't even realize, and then I went back, but Hera has a picture of Kanan on her dashboard.
Yeah, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. It's a tiny little...
It is. It is, and it fucking broke me. And I was like, how dare you?
I want a flashback scene, but I'm scared because it would just break me in so many ways. I can't do that again. It's why I didn't even watch Rebels for an entire year, because after it finished, I couldn't watch season 4. I couldn't watch Kane's death again. No.
But you have to see it twice in Rebels season. You have to see it twice. So I was like, I don't want to see that twice again. No.
How many? Is it 2 episodes left of Ahsoka?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because it will be done to make way for Loki season 2. So that'll be out of the way to kind of pass on to that, because I think they're only really running one of these big flagship things at a time. Because at the moment, Ahsoka's on Wednesdays, Only Murders in the Building is on a Wednesday, and Welcome to Wrexham is. But I don't think they want Ahsoka to necessarily compete with Loki.
No.
I think one will tie up before we go into the next one. So we've got 2 episodes left. I think the talk about there being a season 2 of Ahsoka is entirely plausible. Not convinced they're going to leave this galaxy before the end of this season.
No,
episode 6. This is why I know you guys said you were surprised to see Ezra. You thought it would be too early, but I'm I think they've done it at the right time, so we get 2 episodes with him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they just revealed him really last, you'd be going up.
That's a good point, actually.
You didn't really get a lot of Ezra time. So for such a significant character, to not only the characters but to the plot as well, I think it's the right time to bring Ezra, because fan service, you get 2 episodes with it.
But I'm just gonna go back to Zeb real quick, because obviously. But the interesting thing is they haven't even mentioned Zeb or Callus once within the series, and that tells me that they are going to do something with them, because they have to. Because if they haven't mentioned them or brought light to them, to me that's a big surprise kind of dealio. I don't know. What do you think?
I think we will, but I think it's more because you see Zeb as part of the New Republic fleet.
Exactly.
So
and Zeb was also in.
Well, don't forget, Hera's about to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So she's going to need defense. She's going to need characters also. I think we'll get it for that side of things.
And we don't know if Callus necessarily survived the events of the original trilogy either.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we do, because the
What does Zeb show him where his planet is after Return of the Jedi, or is it before during the epilogue before we talk about the end?
It's before, but it's like before Endor, but it's like adjacent to Endor. It's kind of that same.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we don't.
I think I like Callus, but if they turn around and went, "Oh, unfortunately, he died in this," I don't think anyone will be surprised. I think Zeb's the main.
Yeah,
Zeb's the main draw in. But then, to be honest, they've not really spoken about Kanan either.
No, they don't need to. But also, as long as we don't hear AP5, I'm happy with that because
Yeah, well, they've not said anything about AP5. They've not really said anything about Rex.
No,
But
I reckon we will. I reckon we're building to Rex.
Well, I don't know if you know some Galaxy of Heroes. They put Old Man Rex in, and it's not. Yeah. It's Tamara Morrison.
Yes,
with a beard. So I fully expect we'll see Rex, which I really want Rex. That'd be nice.
And I've only seen. Nope.
Go
okay? Ahead.
No, what are you saying?
I was gonna say I've only seen. Nope, it's gone. My brain just absolutely let go of that thought. Forget me. Carry on.
I don't think we're hitting a massive conclusion the next 2 episodes. We've mainly got. I don't know if we know the runtimes yet.
No.
No, they haven't.
No runtimes, no.
35 minutes. It may be a 35-minute and a 50-minute, potentially. I don't think that we're going to wrap it up. I think it's going to end on a cliffhanger and leave a massive walkway into season 2.
Leave us crying. Yeah.
Leave me crying. We should be obviously back next Thursday at 8 o'clock talking about it. And I'm very excited to see what we're going to get for that. Obviously, with the finale, I will probably be steps at 2 in the morning. So if this group chat does get said something, expect me to go have seen at 2 o'clock in the morning. Go, nope, I don't think I can sleep. not with what's to come.
It's just like it was like Wednesday's episode where I messaged you to be like, "Have you seen it yet?" Just before I go on about it.
But see, like my ritual is like I watch it with my husband. So like I come home from work, I cook dinner, and then we watch it. So like you've already seen it at like 7 a.m. because you have no chill, Matt. I'm just, and you're like, it's so good. You're so good.
Do you know why the reason I'm bum rushing this so much is because spoilers are hitting Facebook so quickly for this series.
Star Wars themselves are dropping them.
Yeah,
like, Star Wars the reveal. Like
I was with Thursday today, so about lunchtime yesterday, I was just absentmindedly scrolling Facebook, and there were pictures of Enoch on there. There were pictures of Thrawn. Like I don't want this spoiled. I didn't care about Andor, but I don't. And this is why I'm watching it early, because I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not missing any.
That's a fair point, because I went on today and it's only been at 24 hours and they've already got pictures of Ezra and stuff up. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Star Wars. Someone in the Star Wars Instagram page needs to be fired. Like, chill out. Like, just.
It's like my girlfriend it was like midnight or whatever. She's like, "You're not going to sleep, are you?" No. You're watching Ahsoka too, aren't you? Yep. Okay, fine.
Like, well, you know, for episode 5, for the big episode, because I had to be in the office that day, I actually got up at 6 to watch it, and then went and did a full day of work or whatever. Because I didn't want to be on my lunch break scrolling it and be like, "Oh, look, there's Rex and there's the Clone Wars and great." So it's why I'm being so like hot on watching it as early as I can, because I don't want to be scrolling Instagram or whatever and have the Star Wars page themselves.
Literally, yeah.
Not dropping like, "Here's a new character poster for Anakin Skywalker." Be like, "Oh crap."
Yeah, exactly. Well, we should be back same time next week, Thursday, 8 o'clock. But until then, thank you so much for joining us. We shall see you all then. Bye.
May the Force be with